Hi, welcome to Useless Banter. My name is Luis.
My name is Brett. Welcome to a podcast where two best friends won't
Shut the fuck up. Basically, a podcast where we talk about a bunch of useless stuff that doesn't really matter, but is highly entertaining.
Heavy on the highly entertaining, so buckle up and let's get into it, gal.
Let's get into it. Welcome back, girl.
I know. We actually just recently released a few weeks ago our first podcast. We've had a few episodes out now.
Yeah. And hey, we had a little viewing party with our friends.
We did have a little viewing party with our friends, which was such a surreal and cool moment for us to have. Honestly, it's like, this is so cheesy, but it does feel like it's like a little dream come true. Always like dreaming of having a podcast and stuff and getting such a good feedback on the release of our episodes and stuff.
And that's part of the reason why we wanted to do the viewing was one, to obviously just get everyone together and celebrate this project, but also just to get feedback too, because we're so new to this and we're just trying to, see what's up.
Yeah. And hey, we need this shit to go viral.
No, but honestly, I think it was great because, for our friends who really already know us, they know so much about us and they know our dynamic and they know all that. So as we're referencing things throughout the episode, actually a really good piece of feedback we got was hey, for those people who don't really know you, people don't know that you guys are dancers, or when you say you guys are doing gigs and stuff, it's what does that mean? So I do think we wanted to just take a moment
to do a little useless banter starter pack.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, who the fuck are you?
No, literally, who are you and why should I care?
And why should I listen?
Honestly, you shouldn't care. No, I'm just kidding. I'm this is useless banter, okay?
Yeah.
But also, no, we do just kind of want to introduce ourselves and kind of tell you guys how we even got to this point and why we're sitting in these chairs today.
Yeah. Okay. And I honestly, I really I know we talked about this, but I really didn't think about, I think it's who are you and what is your story? It's such sometimes a hard question to answer. So I'll give it my best go.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Brett. Obviously, I am originally from New Jersey, South Jersey. My parents divorced when I was really young, so I went between Philadelphia and South Jersey. And then I was a gymnast / cheerleader my whole life. So cheerleading overtook my life. I was obsessed. I was at the gym 5 nights a week, competitions on the weekends. That really, really is such a huge part of my identity. And then, so when I was 16, I got an opportunity. It was the first week of my senior year. I got an opportunity to move to San Diego. So mind you, I'm 16, living at home with my mom, all my best friends, so close to all my friends. I loved school. I loved my life. But I had a little interesting growing up. I'm sure we'll dive into that later on. But I got an opportunity to move to San Diego and cheer on a world championship team. And this was definitely a very pivotal moment in my life because I would have to go on my own. And I would have to live with the host family. And I was so young,
Yeah.
So at 16, I had 2 weeks to decide. I made the decision that I was going to do it. I was going to follow my dreams and compete and cheer on a world championship team, which was a dream come true for the younger version of me. It's this team where it's a large co-ed team. They've won the world championships. They're so well known. And so it's very high intensity, high pressure. And I almost a little bit, I would say outgrew kind of the places that I was cheering at in Jersey. So I was what, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I also grew up super poor. I did not have a lot of money at all. And, the environment that I grew up in, the place that I grew up in wasn't the best. So this almost felt like it was a golden ticket, for a fresh start and just a new life. But I had to leave a lot behind, I had to leave my mom behind and, my best friends and all the things. So truly one of the hardest decisions I have ever made in my life. And I was so scared. I was I've never been to California before. And I'm literally getting on a plane and starting over at 16.
Yeah, that is insane. I mean, I think also the important thing too is that you did have support from family to do it, right?
I did. My everyone in my life was super supportive.
Yeah.
Everyone was Brett, you're so talented. You have so much to do, so much to grow and accomplish. And I had never ever imagined moving to California. I always imagined, when I was young, I wanted to go to fashion school. So I'm okay, after I am done cheering or whatever, once I age out, I would either go to a Louisville to cheer in college, or I would go to a New York City and end up in fashion school.
Yeah.
That's kind of was always my vision or my plan. And then this just kind of felt like an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. And during that time, I had 2 weeks to decide. I had all these signs from the universe that were like California, California, California. It was so weird. Like, this is so insane. But I was working at PacSun at the time, like at the mall, like close to home. And I was super close to my manager and everything like that. And so I didn't tell them yet because I was like, I didn't know if I was going to leave. I didn't want to put my 2 weeks in yet or anything. And so like my manager would always like get us stuff like, oh, this reminded me of you. This reminded me of you, like whatever. So literally the week that I was deciding whether or not I was going to move, I come into work and my manager is like, oh my God, look what we just got in shipment. I got this for you because it just reminded me of you. It was a gold necklace with the state of California. It's PacSun. And I was literally like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, that's why I'm like so like spiritual, I would say, is because like time and time again, there's been so many signs that are sent to me. So I was just like, holy shit. Like it couldn't, like the sign couldn't be any louder than that, you know? Yeah. And thank God I did. So anyways, long story short, I hop on a plane. I moved to California. I have a host family. Now, obviously you don't know, you know, I don't really have siblings. So I like move into a host family. Number one, I felt like Hannah Montana. I
was just gonna say, when you said I hopped on a plane, I'm like, hopped at the plane at LAX with a dream and a cardigan.
No, literally that was me. No, like grew up like super poor in like a, you know, not like maybe the greatest neighborhood, but like just, you know, very, very different experience in moving into a mansion in San Diego with a full family, siblings. I had a mother-in-law suite. So like I had my own house that was disconnected from the house.
So I had
like family dinners that I'd never really done before. You know, like growing up, it was just me and my mom in my house. So like me and my mom, and we're like this, like me and my mom were literally best friends. But it was just us growing up. So like, it was, you know, a little overstimulating. I had like little siblings that were like obsessed with me and stuff, but like, you know, I really loved it because I always wanted to have siblings. You know, I've always told you I'm super envious of what it's like for you to have like such amazing siblings, and why I've kind of like, taxed myself into your little sibling moment. So then that happened. I got to compete at the world championships like 2 or 3 times with that program. So I was like 20, stayed in San Diego for like 3 or 4 years. I did 1 year, got third 3 times. I got the bronze medal at the world championships, which was gutting, but you know, so happy to have done the experience. Met so many people. My life kind of took off from there. And then once I was in California, I was like, this is it for me. Like, I know I'm never going to go back. Like, this feels like home. I've met so many amazing people. I also got my first opportunity to do choreography when I was like 17 or 18. So I was about to age out of cheerleading, and the choreographer that I'd worked with my whole life since I was like 10 years old, he's like a very world-renowned choreographer in the cheerleading world. And he's worked with like the best of the best teams. Like, I've worked with him multiple different times, and he kind of did my choreography for all the teams that I did, that I cheered on. He kind of like helped me grow and blossom into like the athlete that I became, and he saw something in me. And he was like, you know, I could see you working for me. So I joined his company when I was like 18. I just like aged out, and that started my journey doing choreography. Yeah. And he taught me everything that I know. So then I started working for him. Started doing my long summers of cheerleading choreography, which has been such a blessing to my life. And then from there, I did end up going to fashion school. And I remember I signed up to go to FITM San Diego. There's their San Diego location. I go to FITM San Diego. I went by myself. My parents are on the opposite side of the country, and I like talked to them, and I was like, you know, this has always been my dream. I want to go here. And they kind of looked at my finances, and they were like, unless you have like financial backing, there's really no way that we think you would be able to do this. And I remember I literally cried in her office, and I was like, this is my dream. Like, I want to go here. Like, how can we make this work? Like, I'll do whatever. I just want to make this work, you know? And so literally from like my interview and stuff, she literally gave me a specific scholarship that you should just give in the interview. So she gave me like a scholarship.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, wow, like
that is insane.
Yeah. So she gave me a scholarship right then and there. I did 1 year there, and then your second year you have to transfer to LA, the LA location, which is the main location. I transferred, I did it. I became a stylist. I was like doing all these photo shoots and all this stuff. I had a great experience in college, and then I started dating a professional dancer. It was my first love, beautiful, beautiful relationship. And in cheerleading, my favorite part of cheerleading was always dancing and performing. Like, I was always known as the dancer on the team or whatever, even though I never really trained dance, like really. So I would see his videos, and I would look at dance, and I'm like, I can do that. I can do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching the videos. So, hey, I go take a class or two at Millennium. Oh, bitch, I fucking embarrassed the hell out of myself. I'm in the back. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm in the back of the class, just like following along, like just like trying to chase the crowd. Like, this is
Oh my
mortifying.
gosh.
But I was like, I want to do it though. I
Mm-hmm.
want to figure this out. I want to do it, like whatever. And so he helped me like audition for this program that was like a 10-month training program. And it was like balls to the wall, all in like 15 to 20 classes a week of dance. Like every morning was like 7
that the Debbie
a.m.
Reynolds?
The Debbie Reynolds
Yeah,
scholarship
yeah.
program. So I did
Oh,
that.
R.I.P.
And I know. So I did that for 10 months and it was truly I always went from being the best on the team, right? In cheerleading spaces, I'm always so comfortable. Like I did it my whole life. It's like in my blood, to going to a space where I was the worst. I was the worst one in the group. I had the slowest pickup. I really, really struggled. And you're working with choreographers like Brian and Scott, like Ariana Grande's choreographers, and we're doing these intensives with them, and I'm just going down in flames nonstop. And it was so hard on my mental, but like I just was like, so many times I wanted to quit, but I was like, I just have to keep pushing through. And then I started kind of seeing myself start to transform into a little dancer And at the end of the program, we had like a little viewing, and so they invited agents to the viewing. And I was one of the very first out of our program to get signed.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. And that's my bitch right there.
Like, I'm like, babe, if there's one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to perform.
Right,
okay?
right. Wait, also side note, at this point, had you left styling then?
So I was doing it simultaneously, but I was doing it more as like a hobby.
Okay.
I started to realize like in the fashion world, like you have to kind of start at the bottom and you have to be someone's bitch. And I'm not really that great at that. And I've always been making so much money doing choreography, cheerleading choreography. So that kind of supported me and it was just, it just was easier and it made sense. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know that I want to be walking around a store spacing. Like I would love to do interior design and things on my own, but I didn't see it as a career. So, hey, $60,000 and,
but also it's so insane that like the one opportunity that like, not the one, it was like a big one, but the opportunity that like took you out of where you were and brought you across the country ended up being the thing that supported this life of yours, which is so insane and so incredible. And like you literally made that of yourself.
Yeah.
Like you created this life and you're able to live that life now because of it. And that's not to say you can't go somewhere else from here, but it's like that is an amazing accomplishment.
I know it's so weird when I really step back and look at the bigger picture. It is, I am really, really proud of myself, and the inner child in me is like, wow, look at where we started versus where we've made it. And I'm like traveling all over. I have a huge client book. I've got to do and meet and see a lot of cool people, and I've got to be in a lot of cool spaces because of it. And so I really am, eternally grateful, and just all the people and the things that I've done along the way. Like I am blessed, I really, really am. Cause I know that that kind of thing doesn't happen for everyone. And I do think the universe was looking out for me. But then, so I started dancing professionally. Then I started teaching cycling. That's how I kind of got into fitness. Then we like got into, I found Fruit Punch. And so that's kind of where our journeys kind of crossed. Mm-hmm. And so like I just have, my feet in like a little bit of
different spaces.
But I would say I'm really, really passionate about fitness and dance now. And I still do choreography, but those are kind of my, main passions. Which is really what led us together was a dance job that we did. Totally. Which we did the Latin version of America's Got Talent, which is how we got introduced. And then from there we got, we started getting closer, and then we ended up in a dance group together, which, shoots content, does performances and all of those things. And then how I kind of started to get to know you on a deeper level and hear your story, which I think the viewers are on the edge of their seats waiting to hear.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about that whole journey, because we both, again, we only met like 2-3 years ago, and we have such lives that we've lived before.
And it feels like we've lived a million lives already just within our friendship.
No, exactly. Honestly, I'm like, and a million more to come, girl, because our chapters are like crazy. But yeah, I mean, it blows my mind every time that you live this whole other life that I wasn't a part of, and vice versa. You know, there's just so much that I feel like I still am learning about you, even though I feel like we know each other to a T. But yeah, there's still so much there. So for
every time.
Wait, I have to fix it.
Hey, for those of you that are listening, just know that we have a giant hot pink useless Banter light up sign. And it continues to fall and just look raggedy as all hell. But you know what? Luis is on it. He's trying to fix it. Let's see if he succeeds. He's a little bit struggling right now. And okay, let me. You can start to tell your story. Let me finish.
Okay, Brett is now gonna try as I attempt to tell this story. Oh, got it. Okay, amazing. Wow. See, teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I was born in 19. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, please,
no, but I grew up in San Diego, and yeah, I started dancing in high school. Actually, I played sports growing up, all the things. Hey, not football though. I did all the sports. I did basketball, baseball, soccer. I even did track and field. I did football for like 4 months. And the second they were like, okay, we're going to tackle, I was on the sidelines crying to my dad.
Oh my God, yes.
Being like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, no. So he took me out of football. So there's one picture of me in my uniform and that's literally it. All that to say I was never a fighter, but so I continued playing soccer, and hey, my dad was like, you should try out for the high school soccer team. And I was like, ugh, like fine. Like I didn't not like it. It just wasn't a passion of mine. So like to go out of my way to like try out for the team and like whatever was just something that I was doing for him, clearly. But I ended up like honestly just kind of leaving that aside and didn't really want to do it. So hey, I told him like, I don't want to play soccer anymore. And he was like, dagger to the heart. Yeah, he was gutted.
Typical, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, ugh. And then because at the same time that this was all happening, I had like one of my best friends since middle school. We ended up going to high school together, and we would always watch like music videos and like watch people dance and like, hey, the Britney Spears of it all and the Chris Brown of it all and like all of that. And we were like, it'd be so cool to learn how to do that. How do we do that? So we got our friends together. And she had a twin sister. So her sister, me, and like 2 of our other friends, she brought us over and was like, look what I found. Her mom had Shanti's hip hop abs video set. So she's like, it's hip hop abs. Like they're dancing. So we are doing hip hop abs in her living room. And we're like, this is so crazy. But we're also like, whoa, this is a workout. Like, Jesus Christ. So then we're like, okay, we need to find like a dance class, right? Like, let's just learn.
Also, though, that's like such an interesting like moment because like you quite literally teach like hip hop like dance classes. Now it's like the two things were like already kind of giving you a little.
Totally. I think about that all the time because I'm like, that's how I started. And it's essentially what I do now too. A big part of it. So in that, we decide to like find a dance class. My friend is like, right down the street from my high school is a studio. Studio 429, shout out, RIP. So sad it's not there anymore. But that's where I started. So it was a hip hop studio. They had like jazz funk and stuff, but it was mainly like hip hop and breakdancing. And I actually started with breakdancing, but then I found jazz. Right. And then I found jazz funk, and I was like, wait, this is my thing. Yeah, I'm like whip and, you know. So
hey, this is the Louise.
No, literally. So we started taking. It was every Friday after school. We would take this like beginning hip hop class, and it just like to be honest, I can't even like really remember what I looked like doing it, but all I remember is like, 1, we loved it, and 2, I do think it came somewhat naturally to me because I never felt crazy doing it, but I was like, I don't know if I was good or not, but I was doing it. So we would like take that class every Friday. Then we started like building up. The studio owner was like, oh, you guys should try like intermediate advanced. And then eventually the studio owner was like, we're having team auditions. Like you guys should come and audition for the team. And we were like, what does that look like? What does that mean? She was like, well, there's actually a showcase coming up, like a competition coming up that our adult team is doing. It was like one of the biggest competitions, Body Rock, for those of you who know, it's still around, but Yeah. So we were like, okay, let's go check out the competition. Cause she was like, you'll get a good idea of like what happens, you know, what this is all about, what the teams are working towards. We go to this competition, and I kid you not, my friend and I, like, we were like, oh my God, this is like another world. Like everyone here is like very urban style, street dance wear. Like everyone's dressed all hip hoppy. They're like outside of the venue. They're having like a DJ play. People are freestyling. They're breaking. They're voguing. They're like doing everything, right? And we're like, what is this? And then we get into the stadium or the theater, I guess. And then we see all of the performances, including all the instructors that we knew that we had been taking from who are on this adult team, right? So we see them, and that team, they won first place that time. And we were like, this is so crazy. We're like, we have to do it. So I kid you not, we like,
that was like the moment.
That was the moment that we are like, we want to be on stage doing that. Like, I want to do that. So we signed up for the audition, and we ended up going. We made the team, and literally the rest was history. Like after that, I was someone who was very involved in school. I was like student body president. I was in the Japanese National Honor Society. And then on top of that, I wanted to like dance. All I wanted to do was dance, you know?
Of course.
So I was spending like every other day in the dance studio, like just crazy. My parents were like, you're obsessed. And then, so yeah, in that I like had already told my dad I didn't want to play soccer. Then I was like, and I want to dance. And he was like, what? And then I ended up coming out like a year later. And he was like,
please, you're killing me, son.
You're killing me slowly, like literally slowly. And I was like, I'm sorry. So yeah, then I like went through high school dancing, made some of my best friends there, loved the studio. It was like my second home. And also it was a big just like lifesaver for me when I did come out. You know, it was like my safe space, you know?
That's what cheerleading was for me too.
Exactly.
It's a safe space for you to, be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You go in and you like forget about everything else. You focus on your craft, and then, you know, so it was really, really, really important for me. And when I was getting ready to go to college, my parents were very much like, you're going to college, you're studying, like you're doing that whole thing, which I understood and I wanted to do, but I think they could also tell, like, I think my parents were afraid that I was going to
quit everything to dance,
and that I would stay in San Diego because to be honest, I really wanted to be on the adult team that was at the studio, but usually you were like 18 and up to be on that team. And I was only 17 when I graduated. So I never got a chance to be on it, but to be honest, I probably would have considered, if they had offered me a spot on the team, I probably would have considered going to college in San Diego, you know? But my dad was also both my parents, but especially my dad was always, always, always like, I think it comes from being an immigrant parent and wanting your kid, or just any parent, to be honest, wanting your kid to have the things you couldn't have, you know? And my dad always wanted us to have that college experience of like moving away, being independent, growing. He encouraged us to like leave San Diego for school, you know?
Which honestly, I think was a really great
100%.
Like, you know.
Yeah. I think it was the best thing they could have done, to be honest.
I always tell like my people, I mean, I know I did it like younger than most people did, but I think that like the most important thing you can do is leave home.
Yeah. I agree.
And if you make your way back, then great. But like, I think it's so important to leave where you grew up, to find yourself elsewhere and learn about the world and have different experiences, because I feel like it just shapes you into like the human that you're supposed to be.
100%. And it's funny because I say that like, yeah, maybe if they offered me a spot on the team, I would have stayed. But I do remember at that point in my life, just having come out and having gone through all this, you know, because coming out was, long story short, we're not going to dive into that now, but like it was a little rocky at first for me. Yeah. But then eventually I kind of, you know, things worked out. But a part of the reason why I think things worked out too is because I was also so eager to leave home, to be somewhere where, you know, I didn't have ties to my history, or to be so close with family where I could just be myself and figure out what it is I wanted for myself. So I did want to leave home at the same time. So I ended up going to school in San Francisco, which I loved. I actually entered as a creative writing major, which quickly turned not the one for me. Yeah. I went in pretty much because, to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to study in school, but I loved being creative. And I remember taking an AP English class and a creative writing class, and I loved both of those, that I was like, maybe this is what I should study. But then they were like, to be honest, I met with my counselor, and my counselor was like, these are your career options. And I was like, I don't have a desire to do that. So I ended up switching gears, and I ended up studying international business, which I loved because part of the program was studying abroad, studying a second language. They had sister programs with like different universities in different countries. So it worked out in that way where that was part of the curriculum. And I was so grateful for that because I got to like study in Japan and I got to continue learning Japanese.
Whenever you tell me that, I am so blown away by the fact that you lived in Japan for how long was it?
For
A year?
6 months.
6
yeah,
months.
6 months. Yeah.
Like that is insane to me.
It's crazy. It's like, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And I started studying Japanese in high school and I continued it in college. She's real rusty now. She doesn't use it, but I really am grateful for that opportunity. And also just going into school, my parents were like, hey, for the first year that you're in San Francisco, try just focusing on school, try to meet people, try to assimilate to a new city, a new life. Cause I think they also knew I would have jumped into dance and
right into dance,
spent my whole time doing that outside of school. Right. So again, I am grateful they did that because I don't think I would have made the friends or joined the programs and clubs and opportunities that I would have done if I didn't take that year off, you know? I did end up joining like, hey, a co-ed fraternity. I did end up joining like the school dance team, but I also, my second year ended up auditioning for this like city competitive hip hop team that was also very recognized in our community. So I ended up doing that. So I did continue to dance through college, but I also got a chance to just be myself. And to be honest, it really kind of opened my eyes and took me out of like that whole dance bubble for a second.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're so enthralled in it, you kind of forget that there's a world outside of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really also grateful for that because I saw everything else and I saw San Francisco for what it was. And I got to see a whole new side of just me and the city. I loved San Francisco. It was like the best thing ever. And then graduating from school, I knew that I wanted to like continue dancing and pursue dance because a lot of the people around me on my team or from past or whatever were working dancers in LA. So I did talk to a lot of them about like, you know, people were like, are you going to move to LA? Are you going to move to LA? And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to try it, you know? So I was really, really sad to leave San Francisco because I don't know that I would have left if it wasn't for that dream.
Yeah, you loved it.
I did love it. But I also, missed like the weather in SoCal and like that whole thing, you know, like the beach and all that. I'm a beach boy at heart. Like I love that.
Yeah.
So I also missed that. So it was a perfect fit at the end of the day. I ended up moving down to LA. When I first moved to LA right out of school, I was like, okay, well, actually I moved back to San Diego first, but I was interviewing for jobs in LA because I wanted to move there. But I also knew that I had to get a job in order to move there because I was like, I can't just move without anything, you know, like, yeah. And if I told my parents like, I'm going to dance and just move to LA, they were going to be like, excuse me,
they're like,
you know,
bitch, please.
You just spent how much money on this business degree?
Right.
So I was interviewing for jobs. I was interviewing for jobs in PR, public relations, like communications, publicity. And I ended up getting a job at this agency that worked with different tech companies. So for like a year and a half, I did the whole PR thing, working a full-time gig. And little old me thinking like, I can work a full-time job and take dance class at night and maybe audition on the side, like whatever. Girl, I was working like 40 to 60 hour weeks.
There's no way.
No way. And like events on the weekends and, you know, just all these things. So I had no...
And respectfully, like, I just don't see you as a 9-to-5 girl.
It's so crazy because to be honest, I remember having that thought of like, I was also in a relationship at that time. I had just gotten with my ex.
Who the hell was she?
I know. I was booed up. I was working a 9-to-5. I would wake up. I had to wear like suit, like not suits, but like dress clothes to work, right? So I would wake up, put on my little tie, put on my button up, my slacks, like whatever. I would go into work. I would work a full-time job, like a full job. And then I would come home, make dinner with my ex and like wake up and do it all again. And it become a cycle where I was like, oh my God, is this my life? I was like, I wake up, go to work, have dinner, wake up, go to work, have dinner, wake up. Like,
yeah, you're just like living to work.
Yeah. And I was just like, this is crazy. So I was just surprised at that. And I knew that I wanted to pursue this dream that I always had, you know? So I ended up leaving that job and it was perfect timing. I got the opportunity to get signed with an agent. And I left my job, got signed with an agent, started working front desk at a gym, which made me fall in love with fitness, got my personal training certification, did that whole thing. And then, I just like made a full 180, you know?
So crazy.
And then of course the pandemic happened, and that was kind of a rough part, but I'm grateful for that because the pandemic, I hopped on social media and things started growing and taking off, and that led me back to dance and fitness, and I ended up moving back to LA because of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Very, very crazy. I'm grateful. As much as I was questioning every single decision in my life during the pandemic, I'm so, so grateful that it led me to come back to LA and be here now in this.
And like, and thank God it led you to me, babe.
I know, no,
because
really.
what the hell would I do without you?
And like, because I moved to
Such
San
an interesting
Diego,
journey.
I'm connected with Jordan and Nathan, who then brought us together for Fruit Punch and everything.
Yeah.
So
and now here we are.
Useless banter.
Useless banter. Yeah. So for those of you that are watching or listening, we just kind of wanted to share our stories a little bit and just some of like our background as a little episode, so that you know kind of when you're tuning in to watch who you are listening to, and maybe as a sense of like relatability for you guys, just to understand us a little bit better in our journey to useless banter.
And I'm sure over time you guys are going to learn more about us, and we'll dive into those little snippets later. I'm sure just naturally you'll know more about our journey, but we did just kind of want to introduce ourselves and welcome you guys to what is our little fun project podcast that we're really excited for.
Yeah. And on that note, we love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Smooches.
Smooches.